Okay, fourth graders, today we are starting a brand new module. We're doing Module 3, Lesson 1. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be investigating what the formulas are for area and perimeter of rectangles. We're going to find out why they are the way they are and what area even means. And for some of us right now it's just a formula that we memorize, but I'm going to teach you what it means and how the formula came to be. And then we're going to practice using the formulas. Okay? Okay, since today we are learning about area and perimeter, we have to understand first, what is area? For a lot of us, give me a thumbs up if you've heard of area before. Awesome. For a lot of us, area is a formula. We know area is length times width. Is that what you know area is? Yeah. Awesome. Can you explain to me in other words, what does area mean? If you just know it's length times width, you cannot tell me what it means. Area is talking about two-dimensional shapes. When I have a line from point A to point B, that's one dimension. All you have is a length, a distance from me to you. When you are talking about area, you're talking about 2D or two-dimensional shapes. Think about when you see a normal movie. That's called a 2D movie, right? Because it's not 3D. It's a flat screen that you're watching the movie on. Have you guys ever watched a 3D movie? Yeah. You have to put on those special glasses, right? Yeah. And then what happens? It's like it pops out at you guys. Have you guys ever experienced that? The reason why it's called 3D is because there's 3 dimensions. It's not just a flat screen anymore. It's also popping out at you. There's a depth, okay? So when we're talking about area, we're not talking about 3D. We're also not talking about 1D. 1D is just the line. When you see a movie, it is on a rectangular screen, yes? It has 2 dimensions, a length and a width, okay? So area is the amount of space a two-dimensional object takes up. Okay? So if we think about a piece of paper, for instance, it's really 3D, isn't it? It really has 3 dimensions. It has a length, a width, right? And then a very, very, very small height. Okay? But ignore the height for a second. Imagine just the length and the width. The length and the width. And the area is the amount of space that paper takes up, that 2D object takes up. We can call this the length, where I'm moving my iPad right now. Yes? Is it always the length? No. Could this be the length? Yes. Because you can always turn a 2D object, okay? So area, I want you to write this down in your notebook. Area is the amount of space a two-dimensional object takes up. Now, area, for example, if we look at this, how many boxes does this thing take up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. How many boxes or how many squares does this whole rectangle take up? 28 squares. Do you agree? Go ahead and draw in your notebook a rectangle, a big rectangle that is 4 units by 7 units, just like what you see on the screen. Whenever we are talking about area, we are talking about 2 dimensions, okay? Because it's the amount of space a two-dimensional object takes up. So it's always measured using square units, okay? So the area is not 28 squares, it's 28 square units. In class, we always write area, we express area in square units because it takes actual squares to cover up the area that we're trying to find. Okay? There's 2 ways to write square units. You can literally write the word square and then feet, or square inches, or square miles. Or you can write the unit, so inches, centimeters, and you can put a little tiny exponent too at the top. That also means square inches. Okay? Now, perimeter is different. Perimeter is the distance around a rectangle. So, if I start at this corner and I go all the way down there, how many units did I just pass? Everyone? 7. Okay. If I want to go all the way around, then I have to go here. How many units is that? 4. Okay, then I have to go back up. How many units is that? 7. And then I have to close it. How many units is that? 4. So what is the perimeter? 7 plus 4 plus 7 plus 4, which is? 7 plus 4 plus 7 plus 4. Well, we can think to ourselves, what's 7 plus 7? What's 4 plus 4? What's 14 plus 8? 22. Let me ask you a question. It's 22 something. Is it 22 regular units? Is it 22 square units? What kind of units do we use to measure perimeter if perimeter is the distance around a rectangle? Haruto? Regular units. Because if I were to stretch out the perimeter, it would be 7 units. And then instead of turning, what if I just drew it straight? 4 units, then 7 units, then 4 units. Perimeter really is a... Okay, so I want you to write down that perimeter is a distance or a line all the way around a rectangle. And we measure it using regular units, not square units. Let's think about perimeter again some more. We know that perimeter now, we know it's a line, a long line, and it's just really the distance around a rectangle. So now in your notebook, go ahead and draw a new rectangle. Make it 3 units across the top by 9 units up and down. Then label the edges, 3 units and 9 units. How can we find the perimeter of this rectangle? We have to do the length, which is 3 units, plus the width, which is 9 units, plus, what is this one again? Is that the length or the width? Length plus the width. Do you guys agree? So this is the length plus the width plus the length plus the width. How many lengths do we have to add? 2 lengths, okay. How many widths do we have to add? So another way we can find it is 2 lengths plus 2 widths. So we can find length plus width plus length plus width, or we could think of it as 2 lengths plus 2 widths, or we can think of, if I added length plus width, how many times do I have to do that? So I could also think of it as 2 copies of the length plus the width. Do you guys agree? Yes? Yes. So therefore, there are 3 different ways we can think of the formula for perimeter. We can think of it as length plus width plus length plus width. We can think of it as 2 lengths plus 2 widths. We can also think of it as 2 copies of the length plus the width. Let me show you what I mean. We can think of it as length plus width plus length plus width, which is this first example, right? Length plus width plus length plus width. Yes? We can also think of it as 2 lengths because there are 2 lengths. And we can add that to 2 widths. Do you guys see that? In the last example, I can think of the length and the width as 1 half of it. Isn't that in yellow right there? Is that length plus width? Is that the whole perimeter? No, it's exactly what of the perimeter? Exactly half. So if I made 2 copies of that, then I would have the whole perimeter. As we know, area is the amount of space a 2-dimensional space takes up, right? What kind of units do we use to measure area again? Square units. Good. Okay, that's a good review. Okay, now, so look back at your rectangle. That's 3 units by 9 units. How many square units do you have in there? Well, if I only have this first row, how many square units do you have? 3. What about in 2 rows? 6. Huh, okay. What about in 3 rows?
9.
What patterns are you noticing? What about in 4 rows?
12.
For the number of rows there are, I have to add 3 more units, right? So to find the total, it would be 3 units times how many rows of that?
9.
Oh, so what is the formula for area? Area equals the length times the width. Because that's going to tell you how many rows of squares and how many squares are in each row. So what is the area of this rectangle? Hear it? 27? 27 what's? Sparsh? Square units. Good. And again, there's 2 ways you can write this. You can literally write out the words 27 square units. Or you could write 27 units, and then you write a little exponent 2 to show that it's square units. Here's what won't work. 27 units, 2. That's not square units. This is an opportunity for those of you who don't have neat handwriting to slow down and write neatly. Okay, thank you.